Rogers TV St. John's.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
Welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. This is the place where you get to meet amazing individuals from around the world who are making a difference in Newfoundland and Labrador. In today's episode, you'll get to meet Ijeoma Clare Egini and learn all about food safety. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. Joining me today is Ijeoma Clare Egini. Welcome to Sharing Our Cultures.
Thank you so much, Lloydetta. I'm glad to be here.
Right, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Right, there's been a lot of conversation around food safety lately or food insecurity, and we know that you have a lot of knowledge that we want to glean from today. So tell us what we need to know about food safety.
Okay, I would like to talk about the food traceability and public health.
Okay.
So food traceability is a process by which food and all ingredients are being traced through their supply chain, from the farm to the processing, to the manufacturing, to the distribution, and up to the end point, which is the consumption. The importance of a good traceability system is to make sure that when there's a food food disease outbreak, it's easy to trace back and forth where the problem is coming from.
Okay.
In the mid-80s, there was an incident that happened in the Great Britain, and what happened was there was a mad cow disease, and there was a food-borne outbreak. Actually, what caused the problem was because these cows were being fed with infected sheep remains that had a brain disease. So when these cows, they were fed with this, and the consumers also consumed this product, it became a problem. So, and also a good traceability system is important, because when you look at the society today, sometimes you find out that there are food frauds, mislabeling on our products, and food contamination, which could lead to food poisoning and food disease outbreak. So it's also important to have an effective traceability system where people can see and where people can say, okay, this is where the food I'm eating comes from. This is the way it is being processed. This is the time and it was being packaged, and this is how it's being shipped. So looking at traceability system is really important, and there are two applications that are being used as of today. One is the barcode system, and the other one is the radio frequency. The barcode system is usually used on food products, while the radio frequency is used on animals. Food traceability system encompasses a lot of areas. It doesn't matter so far you handle food, whether you're importing, whether you're exporting, whether you're distributing food, whether you're selling food, it's important to have a good traceability system.
Okay. So how do you get that? Like, how does that work?
Exactly. So when you go to the grocery store and you buy your vegetables, you buy your fruits, you buy your packaged products, you will see a label on it, a labeling code. That labeling code, it can give you the origin where that product comes from. It can give you the how this product is being packaged, the process around this food product. So people get to know, especially when there's a foodborne outbreak, that this is what we've eaten, this is where it falls short. You know, because when you look at the news today, you go on the internet, there's a lot of food recalls happening, you know. So people need to know how these foods are being processed.
Okay, so if food is coming, say, from somewhere as far away as Mexico or Chile or South Africa,
Yes.
is that going to, how is that being traced? Like, what's the process of that actually happening?
That is where the traceability system comes in. So every business needs to have it. There's a, like this barcode I just mentioned, you need to have it. So is an app. It's not just something you, so there's a process to it. You need to have that application for you to be able to trace and see where the origin of this farm, the farmer that identified the grower, be able to know the processes that went around the production of this food, and maybe the packaging and the shipping and all that.
Okay. So how can I ensure my food safety as a consumer? So I go to the supermarket and I purchase, you know, as you say, fruit, vegetables, or meat, and I bring that home. How would I know as an individual that what I'm eating is not contaminated?
If it's contaminated, of course, the producer, the manufacturer that made it, they have a quality control system. They have a quality assurance person that will be able to, that all these products go through the quality control before it goes out to the consumer. It goes out to the grocery store and the consumer buys it, and then, yeah.
But sometimes we hear that there's a recall because there's E. coli bacteria in the food or salmonella poisoning the food. So, but sometimes by the time the consumer learns about that, they've probably already consumed
it.
So how can we avoid that happening?
That's the essence of the food traceability system we're still referring to. So there's need for a robust and an effective traceability system to come in place so that there will be a reduction of cost. Because when people get sick, you know, the hospital has to take them in, there will be a reduction of cost, there will be a reduction of waste. So this is something that still needs to be worked on, you know, to make it available to everyone that they can easily trace the food products that they eat.
Okay. So then the onus is on the food producers to make sure that, you know, like as you mentioned, the example of what happened with the mad cow disease, so to make sure that they're not using, or, you know, there's safety around their production that doesn't end up causing diseases for humans.
Exactly. So is the responsibility of those producing the food to make sure that at each point that this food, even from the farm, through the processing, through the production, through the manufacturing, distribution, each point there's a quality control, there's a critical point that is being examined to make sure that that the processes are being monitored and it doesn't, there's no food contamination in the process before it gets to the final consumer.
You have been involved here with the Food Producers Forum.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So yes, I volunteer for the Food Producers Forum shared by Dan Robin. I've been with this group since 2019, and it's something that helps me to, you know, use my skills, the education I have in food safety to let people create awareness, let people know that, you know, what food safety is all about. And the web page also have other sections in it, not just the food safety area. It has the soil aspect of it. So it has a lot of different areas where people come in and they write their articles so you can read up on it. And they hold conferences every year.
Okay. So now a lot of people have been working on backyard farms and producing food for themselves, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So how would they determine that their food is safe? What's the process in place for them?
So they have to, as a farmer, before you produce foods that people will have to consume, you have to make sure that your quality control is up to date. So you see people hiring food safety specialists, HACCP coordinators, so people that have an idea of what it entails, what quality control entails. So people that also have the certification, you know, that can actually look through, manage the processes involved in producing that food. So because you're a farmer doesn't mean that you might have that knowledge, but then someone that is really trained in that area is a better, I would suggest is a better alternative if you if you can have someone like that in your farm or in your production.
Okay, now you did mention a HACCP control. Can you explain what that is?
So the HACCP means that, you know, it's still the same quality control we are talking about. So making sure that at each point that the food is being processed, the critical point is being looked into. So someone that is allergic to, let's say, crab or fish, you don't use the same, tools that you use to prepare the fish to go prepare meat for the person, because obviously you're going to contaminate that food. And, you know, it will be a cross-contamination. So like what I'm trying to say is that at each point that the food is being processed, there's a critical point in it. So that's where the HACCP comes in, that every process has a critical point and it has to be really looked into. If one of the critical points is missed, that could cause a food contamination. That could cause a food recall. Okay. Yes.
Because I know sometimes when you go to purchase some desserts, they will say there could be a trace of nuts or trace of peanuts.
That's true.
Okay, so that's kind of way even though they cannot avoid that, they actually inform the consumer that maybe if you're allergic to peanuts, you maybe shouldn't be having this.
Yes, sometimes you see that on the label. If you're allergic to peanuts, just know that this contains peanuts. So as a consumer, you just, drop it if you're allergic to peanuts. Okay. So.
All right, thank you very much. That's really good information.
You're welcome.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. We're going to continue our conversation now with Ijeoma, and we're going to find out a little bit more about her and coming here to Newfoundland Labrador. So tell us about that.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Lloydetta. Actually, I came in here the fall of 2018 to study food safety at the Marine Institute. And I would say my experience, everybody's experience is different. Mr. A experience is different from Mr. B experience, different from Mr. C experience. So, but my own experience when I came in, because I came from a warm country, the weather was a bit cold. It was getting cold at the time I came in. So, at some point I was like, are you sure? Are you sure I could get through this cold? Maybe I should be going back home. But when I see people here and I see the way I see their positive mindset, I had to keep pushing through. I had to keep pushing through. And, my immigrant experience was not, I had a very wonderful immigrant experience, because I happened to meet this amazing couple from Newfoundland here, Barry Constantine and Sharon Skinner. And, they're like parents to me. They were really amazing. They've been of immense help to me. And they helped me to adjust to the culture. They helped me to adjust to the weather. And, okay, so coming to my education, I do have a bachelor's degree in microbiology from the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. And after that, I proceeded to get my master's degree from the Cardiff Metropolitan University. I did a master's degree in biomedical sciences with the option of medical microbiology. So it was my undeterred passion about food safety that got me to come to Newfoundland Marine Institute to study food safety. And I love subsistence farming, raising poultry, you know. So these are things that I do love doing back home.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about when immigrants come here, food is really important to them. How were you able to manage, like, did you get all the ingredients you would have used at home when you came here for preparing meals for yourself?
When I came here, I went to the grocery store, and when I saw things like cultural food like okra, I saw things like plantain, I was really excited, you know. But then I realized that it's not just my country that eats okra. It's not just my own country that eats plantain. So people from Asia, people from other countries, they also eat all these things. So now the thing is, sometimes there's not an abundant supply of these our cultural foods. And you wonder why, because most times I go to the grocery stores, I don't see this okra.
Yeah, because I think I went and bought them all. Because I usually call up and say, what day is okra coming today? And they say, oh, it will be here on Tuesdays. And Tuesday, first thing in the morning, the store opens. I'm there for it. So guilty as charged. I'm some of the people who get the food long before others can get to it. But I do leave a lot more for everyone else, though, yes. But there's not an abundance of the various types of foods that people want to have here.
That's true.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's something that I would appeal to the agriculturists to, you know, to work on producing more of these cultural foods so that when immigrants come here, it will not be like they are not, you know, even though they're not in their home country, but when they see their cultural foods, you know, they will feel like they're more at home, because it will be easy to have access to all those cultural foods. So these are just the ones I know that, you know, that I eat, and also other countries, you know, other immigrant countries eat. There are a lot of foods that are, you know, that I would love to see here. You know, I won't like to, as much as I want to try other foods, I still want to, like, you know, if it's possible that such foods could be placed in the grocery stores.
Yeah. Maybe we should approach some of the farmers and see if they can grow some of those foods here, which would make it a lot cheaper. Because I noticed that the cost of even okra that you're mentioning is really expensive.
That's true.
And sometimes when I go out to the checkout and they sort of look at it and look at how much I'm paying, I always say to them, it is worth every bit of it. It's worth how much I have to pay. So that sort of process of getting farmers more knowledgeable about the foods, because when you think about it, Newfoundland Labrador is becoming more and more culturally diverse, and as the province opens up to immigrants coming in here, that is an area where we really would like to see resources made available for us to actually feel home and feel at home and feel a sense of belonging here, when we can actually have our own meals and ingredients to prepare meals that we're used to.
And, you know, there's also we do understand that during winter season, it's hard to grow these things. It's only like during the, you know, when the cold is not too much, but there's also this hydroponic farming that people do right now. So if with a lot of people going into hydroponic farming, there will be an abundance of not just, you know, a lot of food, a variety of foods, cultural foods that we can see in the grocery stores.
Yeah, that will be really helpful, and people could maybe even have the opportunity to grow foods for themselves.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So you've mentioned that you had these couples who helped you to feel at home, and so do you feel now that you are at that place where you do feel at home here and you do feel a sense of belonging, and you think you're going to stay with us a while?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I've come to that point where, you know, I've really integrated into the community, and, I've come to learn the Newfoundland culture. Even though I might not learn it 100%, but a large percentage of it, I've come to understand what the Newfoundland culture is all about. Because, when you have people that are close to you this way, they teach you a lot of things, about their culture.
Okay. How about the
and
food?
you also teach them about your culture as well.
Yeah. Okay. So have you learned a lot about the Newfoundland foods? Like,
Yes, I have.
Tell us about which ones you which ones you like, which ones you can prepare.
Okay, I know about the jigs dinner. Okay. The jigs dinner, yes, is something that they prepare during festive periods because it takes a lot of time. I remember during one of the Christmases, Christmas times, I had that, with the Barry and Sharon, their family. And I also know that during, when it's time for Good Friday, they only have the fish and chips. And that's something I really like, So the one I can prepare, I'm still trying, I'm still getting there. Haven't really made something for, for a big group of people to eat, but gradually I take my time to prepare the Newfoundland foods. Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of fish that's eaten here. How does that compare with back home where you grew up?
Actually, from where I come from back in my home country, I'm from we have a river, so there's we are called the riverine area. So we usually get all this seafood, like fresh fish, some of the seafoods. So it's just that sometimes I don't see here, I haven't seen a crab before.
Okay.
But back home we get crabs.
Okay.
There are some seafoods that we get back home that we don't see here.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. But still, whatever is here, you're able to prepare that like you would when you were home?
Yes.
Okay.
I love the seafood a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you love about living here?
Well, I love the fact that the people are nice, they're friendly, which I understand from, my friends that have moved also outside of the province. They said it's not where they are is not as friendly as when they used to be in Newfoundland. So, and Newfoundland is also calm. It's a place that you can raise your family, easily raise your family without any fear or yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's naturally beautiful too.
Yeah, and they have a lot of trails. Exactly. They have a lot of trails. So like up Signal Hill, you see a lot of people come there to take a walk, go through the trails early in the morning or in the evening, any time of the day. And they have a lot of waters, beaches and all that. So it makes the place fun to be.
Are you in a place now where you feel that, yes, you've made that decision that you're going to stay here and make here your home?
Okay.
Because as we mentioned earlier, that some people come here and then they leave, but then when they get to where they are, they realize that the grass is not as green on the other side, and sometimes they come back, other times they don't.
Yes.
But for people who are thinking that maybe they want to leave here, what would you say to them that they should stay?
I would suggest that, weather is number one. The weather can change at any time. So it could change from being sunny right now to being cold. So it can change at any time. So for you to be here, I think weather is just the thing about Newfoundland. Every other thing is perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
So if they can just get over the fact that it's going to be cold sometime or you're going to have snow sometime, it's a wonderful place to be. They shouldn't have to be anywhere else but here.
But we don't have power over nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that, naturally happens. It's not something you can hold on to and say, okay, it's sunny now, I want it to be sunny all day. no, it could change. So that's nature for you.
Right, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, thank you so much. You've taken the time to be here, and I really do appreciate that. And I wish you all the best. You've got so much knowledge and experience about, you know, food safety, food production. I think the province really needs someone like you. So we really hope that you'll get to stay here and use all that knowledge and training that you have to make this a better place for us.
Thank you so much, Lloydetta. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to share my knowledge. I appreciate that.
And you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Sharing Our Cultures will be right back. Our thanks to Ijeoma Clare Egini for sharing with us today, and to you for joining us in conversation. Join us again next time to meet amazing individuals who are making this place a wonderful place to be.